Joining us now is longtime advisor to former President Trump, Bruce LeVell, also a senior advisor to Trump's 2016 and 2020 campaigns. Bruce, great to have you with me today. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. A lot of action in the news.
A lot of action. We have a lineup here, so let's jump right into it. First of all, Biden's comments yesterday about the MAGA crowd. You know, this is the president, promised he's going to bring everybody together, but here he is calling Trump supporters the most extreme political organization in America's history. I mean, I guess when all your policies are failing, you just start the name calling, Bruce.
Yeah, well, you know, he's desperate, and thanks again for having me, Bianca. Listen, the most, quote, radical political organization in the history of the United States is the platform that Joe Biden represents right now as we speak. Yes, he's the one that wrote and co-authored the crime bill, creating the largest mass incarceration of Black America. He billions of dollars worth of military equipment in Afghanistan. He has not yet to even show any leadership towards the Ukrainian conflict with Russia. They had to send Nancy Pelosi over there because it's totally chaos. So what does he do? He tries to wag the dog and put blame on a MAGA crowd. Last I checked, and thank God for Newsmax, because you guys were there during the ground of all those riots, you did not see one, quote, MAGA, if you want to say it that way, MAGA supporter burning and looting down small businesses and creating chaos.
Nope.
That was under this woke regime of the Democrat Party, who failed and neglected and rejected the help of President Trump to come save these cities. That is who owns this, not the MAGA crowd.
Well, those are the mostly peaceful protesters, as the media would have you believe, Bruce. And speaking of that, you know, we had the SCOTUS leak this week, and the mainstream media, it really sounds like they have their talking points directly from the White House. Let's listen to some of the same sentiment we're hearing now from the media.
I wonder your thought on this characterization of the Republican Party in its current incarnation as the most extreme political organization in history.
Well, I certainly agree with that characterization.
Because the founding fathers didn't recognize abortion as a fundamental right. And he's right about that. The founding fathers didn't recognize abortion as a fundamental right because the founding fathers were racist, misogynist jerk faces who didn't believe that women had any rights at all.
My worry is that this is just the beginning. Next, they'll go after gay marriage and maybe the board, what is it, Brown versus Board of Education? Yeah. They already eroded our voting rights a little bit. So I see fascism down the line here.
It's one big echo chamber. I mean, these people sound like they hate not just our country, but the American values our country was founded on. I mean, this is offensive rhetoric.
Leaked whatever, but I'm gonna tell you just like this, Bianca, Newsmax viewer. I'm a prodigy. You saw Sister Kathy Burnett as a prodigy of a rape victim, and I escaped an orphanage myself and was adopted. Yes, I love the word adoption. Listen, we've got to get this underhand in terms of this Roe v. Wade. And, you know, at the end of the day, there are 60 million babies that were aborted. And yes, 80+% of Planned Parenthood are in brown communities promoting this. So something has to be done. So I don't know where they're coming with this. These pro-abortion people are the ones advocating, but they're alive. So it's interesting where this is coming from. So listen, I just say that the nation needs to be in prayer over this because I know I'm worried about going into the summer with this extreme craziness, with mainstream media already showing their hand on where they want to be instead of putting it back to the states, we the people, by the people, which is what the Constitution was designed for in the beginning.
Well, you make some important notes there. First of all, the comment that did happen on the Newsmax debate last night on the stage there in Pennsylvania, and it was so poignant. And, you know, talking about the violence, it's clear now that there's been a fence put up outside the Supreme Court in anticipation of what could be violence. They're calling it unscalable. They think people would rush it. But, you know, they do want to paint MAGA as extreme, but I just want to remember some comments like Maxine Waters in the past.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
So I guess it's okay if you're a Democrat, Bruce. It's okay to have that type of talk.
Yeah, the optimism here, Bianca, Newsmax viewers, the 2022 midterms. The America First candidates, yes, that President Trump is endorsing. You saw 22 sweep of his endorsements in Ohio. Stay tuned for all the rest. This is what I call the Control-Alt-Delete of this great nation of people tired of people like Joe Biden and his family profiting off the people's back, Maxine Waters, and all of the quote, yes, Nancy Pelosi, and yes, some Republicans too, who have birthed their candidacy and put their seats on pay to play, and they would be holding to the special interests and not we the people. So this is what this Reformation is going for, and they're desperate. So now they're trying to throw anything they can up against the wall to scare the people, yes, and make the brown people like, oh, the big bad boogeyman MAGA crowd is coming because they want free independence. They want less government. They want to address the atrocities of the mass genocide of Black America through abortion that they sold through their Planned Parenthood that are near all the Black communities, 80% of Planned Parenthood. Yes, this is what they're trying to hold on. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing a living, breathing America Reformation that's going on. And that's what they're upset about. So my optimism is 2022. And yes, 2024, soon to be, who was 45, will be 47th President Donald John Trump. You heard it right here.
Yeah, and Bruce, you know, in Alito's draft that was leaked, he did mention the disproportionate number of babies that are African American that are aborted, and talked about at the basis of all this was someone who was, you know, a eugenicist. So, I mean, it is out there, and it does need to be, you know, talked about more about where people are, you know, they're taking fact and fiction, and they're making it all about their own narrative here. And, you know, what we should also be worried about, the judges who are now activists are saying, go to their houses. The Obamas put out a statement saying, we're asking you to join them, sounding the alarm, stand with protesters, go out there and join them, act. And then we had the president, in his own words, listen to what he thinks this really is about.
The idea that we're going to make a judgment that is going to say that no one can make the judgment to choose to abort a child based on a decision by the Supreme Court, I think goes way overboard.
Use the word child. It's getting a lot of play, Bruce. So what do you make of that choice of words?
Well,
Psaki tried to roll it back.
I hope this clip makes it to the White House. Jen Psaki, Joe Biden, if you're watching this, as I said earlier, I'm a prodigy of 1964, from a biracial parents, biological parents, where I had a 10% survival rating if I was going to survive. But yes, thank God, they put me in a home where a beautiful, loving couple adopted me. Why isn't Joe Biden promoting adoption? Why aren't we saying the proactive solution of, like, save our beautiful babies, push the word of adoptions? Bianca and Newsmax, you would have never met me if I was not spared to be adopted. I stand with my sister, Kathy Burnett, and many others, and millions of other people who are watching this. Push the word adoption like Donald John Trump did in 2015 and 16. Save our beautiful babies. What's wrong with that? How dare you even side? Like I said, the people who are alive are the ones that are pushing this pro-abortion.
Yep, and Kathy Barnett saying those words, you know, that her mother was a victim of rape and she wouldn't be here, and you have your own personal story. These are American stories, and these are beautiful lives, like you said, and it is the National Day of Prayer, so we do hope at some point people can take a step back and really have a moment of reflection on whatever moral compass they have and come together in some way, shape, or form. Real quick, just like 10 seconds here. Oz got the Trump endorsement. You think he's going to pull it off here, just like everyone else did in Ohio and Indiana who got it as well?
Yes, I believe he will. And I'm going to tell you, I know people are a little emotional. Some people say, well, he said this, he said that. Listen, everyone can come to a realization like, you know, maybe this really works. And people need to understand something. Donald John Trump is not no dummy. He's been out in this fighting for over 40 plus years, and it's his name, it's his money, it's his brand, it's his decision. And either we have to trust this or we don't. And so far, I think he's been doing pretty well. You saw all his endorsements in Texas. Like I said, you saw the ones in Ohio, and soon to be a bigger sweep on his endorsement. He has a great discerning spirit on picking winners.
Bruce LeVell, as always, great to have you with us, and appreciate the conversation today with so much happening in the world. Thanks, Bruce.
God bless. Thanks for having me, Bianca.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.